The idea of Confederate statues and Confederate flags and remnants of the Confederacy being cultural or heritage, I don't think that's inaccurate. What I would question somebody who finds the need to exalt them as a statue is, what part of your heritage are you celebrating? What does that flag mean to you? And have you asked anyone else beyond yourself or your immediate family what that flag means to them? If we look at Germany, the statues and commemorations that they choose to exalt are for the German citizens who suffered under Hitler and Nazi rule at one point in time. And I've been there twice, and I can't claim that I've been in every part of Germany, but what I know is that anything that would exalt those who perpetuated oppression is not allowed. You're not allowed to have a statue commemorating someone who was a Nazi and perpetuated oppression. Instead, we have places where we honor those who were oppressed and who lost their lives, so that we remember that we never want to be back in that place. And if we think about the Confederacy, it was an uprising predicated on the idea that as a white person, I am allowed to own black people, and my livelihood and my family's wealth is predicated on owning slaves, and I'm willing to die for that. That's what the Confederacy was about. And so if a person wants to talk about Confederate ideology as part of their heritage, I would just want to ask them, which part do you want to exalt of the Confederacy heritage? And is it worth also exalting this very obvious other part? I would want to engage them in a conversation if it's a one-on-one. I mean, broadly, I think that as a country, we should not be exalting those who rose up and were defeated. But individually, I would want to ask more questions, because I would really want to understand what they mean by that. And I would want to understand how much of that is a reactionary place, just like, this is familiar to me, and now you're telling me it's bad, and I'm having a reaction to that, which I think is a normal human reaction, versus how much of that is thoughtfulness. Like, this is familiar to me, and you're telling me it's bad, and I've actually thought about that, and I've actually read something about that, and I've actually figured out what that means. And I think a lot more people are in a reactionary space than a thoughtful space, and so the only person I can change ever is myself. So I can't change another person. So the best thing I could do is ask them questions that help me understand that better, but also I think would challenge them to actually grapple with what their actions are doing in the world. That's what I would do in a one-on-one situation with somebody who has an issue with the Confederacy. I mean, we still know a lot about Nazis, even without Nazi statues. I took students to the Holocaust Museum for 7 years. I know a lot about Nazis, and I don't need a statue to tell me about that. I think statues are meant to remind us of the best parts of our history, not exalt some of the worst parts of our history. And so that to me is the role of statues, and that to me is the role of what we should be doing with history and remembering it.